What is going on, guys? Lonely Wander 365 here today. Have another Pokemon Unite video for you on the YouTubes, on the interwebs for y'all to oogle at and boogle at and make fun of me for being bad. You know, that's just what happens. I'm a trash can. I get it. The only difference, though, is me being a trash can now. I'm going to keep playing. I'm not going to stop, and I'm going to get better. It's what you do. Everyone's bad at one point. Like, at one point you have to understand Wayne Gretzky didn't understand how to run on ice or skate on ice. At one point. I don't know, football players. I'm trying to think of the one from the Raiders who... Bo Jackson. At one point he didn't know how to swing a bat. At one point he didn't know how to run a ball. He didn't know how to throw a ball. He didn't know what football was. But then he became the greatest. You know, he became one of the greats. It's hard to do. It's hard to get real good at something because you have to dedicate not only your time but yourself. You have to dedicate to something more than you, which is hard for a lot of people to even understand or try to do. You know, it's not easy for someone to put others before themselves or try put themselves before themselves, if that makes sense to you. And yeah, it's a lot of people get discouraged real easily when they're bad at something. Like, the best esports players didn't know how to play Mario at one point. Understand that. Understand these guys wake up every morning same as you. These guys have breakfast, maybe skip breakfast, eat lunch, maybe skip lunch, have dinner, whatever, you know? We're all human at the end of the day. We all do the same things. It's just, how much more are you willing to dedicate of yourself than the other guy, you know? How much more time and effort are you willing to put in more than the person next to you? And that's what really counts at the end of the day. I know I'm not the greatest or most fun to even listen to right now because I'm new to commentating over my own content. Like, I've commentated over live content before, and that is way easier than trying to start a conversation after the game's already over. And I like challenging myself in ways like that. That's kind of fun for me. And yeah, because when I'm playing the game, there's funny moments, sure, but it's not like always funny, or there's not always something I'm talking about, because most of the time I'm just trying not to die. Like, that's the whole point of the game in the first place, is to try not to die. And you want to, if you can, knock that other guy out. Like, that's the whole point. That's what you want to do. That's what you hope to do. I didn't do it right there. I got knocked out. It happens. You know, this is one of my first, I think, Dragonite games, and I don't do great. I don't get a lot of kills, but you know what I do? I learn how to play Dragonite now. So now when I go play ranked, I understand what moves that the Pokemon can do compared to if it was my first time ever playing as Dragonite. You know? And that's just what we're about on my channel. I want to get better at things. I don't want to get A, stagnated, or B, just worse, you know? And the last thing I want is to think of myself so highly that I think I'm good at something, you know? Because in the end of the day, there's someone that's better than you and has had more time to put into this game. Like, I've seen people with 3,000 games. And I've played this game a lot. Like, I started a few months ago, and for the first, 4 weeks of playing, all I did was play. So if I spent a month, maybe 2 months, doing non-stop every morning. I'd wake up, I'd play. If I wasn't at work, I'd be playing, you know? But then there's people I see with, like I said, 2,000 games, maybe 3,000 total games, and it's like, where's the time of day? Because even if they surrender at 5 minutes, that's a 5-minute game every single time. That's a lot of time. Like, let's say every single win they have is a surrender at 5 minutes on the dot, which is highly, highly unlikely. There's not many people who even get surrenders at all. So the chance of that person having nothing but surrenders, very unlikely. But on the off chance that that's true, that's 10,000 minutes playing this game, at the very least. And that's not including time spent watching videos, time spent out of the game learning game mechanics, or building, doing your builds, like spending hours working on what builds work for you. It doesn't account for that. That's just in-game time. That is at the very least 10,000 minutes of just Pokemon Unite, which I don't know. I don't know how someone can want to do that to themselves, because I've had, when I played for 2 months straight, I wanted to take a break. Like, there was a point where it's like, okay, this has been fun, this is enjoyable, but I've been doing this way too much. Alright, we're gonna hop over to the next video now after this victory royale right here. And like I said, that one was Dragonite, this one's Serena. I don't know. So each game is different for me. Like, each time I play in a different arena, in a different match, it's always going to be a different game for me, because I'm going in thinking something different every time. Like right here, I just had that Dragonite win, so I'm going in cocky. And that's what you don't want to do, especially in MOBAs, because at the end of the game, you're going to be at the strongest you're going to get. You're as strong as you can be, right? And when you start, you're as weak as you can be. So you don't want to go into the game thinking you're as strong as you're going to be, or that you're going to be just as strong as you were a second ago, because you're not. You're really not. Even if you lost that last game, you're not going to be as strong as you are when you lost. You know, you're going to be 10 times weaker, and you have to account for that. Because even though you're winning, or even though you're losing, you have to account for, okay, this game doesn't continue, right? It's not an RPG, it's not an RTS, maybe it's an RTS, real-time strategy, I don't know. But it's not something where you save and you come back to play, right? It's something that it happens for that 10 minutes and then that game is over, and you won't have another game like that, because your teammates will be different every time, and so will your opponents. So you have to account for that, and you can't get down or too hard on yourself for losing a few games in a row, because when you lose a bunch in a row, or even like in League of Legends they call it malding, like losing over and over and over and trying to get that win, and it just doesn't happen, because you're in the mindset of, oh, I lost my last 3 games. If I lose this 4th one, it doesn't matter. And when you start the game, you think you're just as strong as you were when you lost the 3rd game that you just played, and you're not. You're weaker than when you lost, which is crazy to think about, like, oh, how am I weaker? Because you start out at a base level, it resets every time. You can't go in off of the win. You can't ride that high almost. You have to cut that adrenaline boost and then just get right back into the next game. And you can't think about that last game anymore, albeit win or loss. You want to just keep going with how you're doing. And if you're on a roll and you're on a bender and you've won like 7 games in a row, same thing. Do the same thing if you lost 7 in a row. Take a break, because eventually you're gonna lose. It doesn't matter when or how. No one has a perfect record. The greatest of all time probably don't even have a 70% win rate, like in most major sports: soccer, football, American football, hockey, baseball, cricket, whatever it is. Those guys, the best of the best, don't have a 70% win rate, because it's not just them out there. If they could run the team by themselves and they could win the game by themselves, then they would be on their own team by themselves winning. But they're not. You need a team, and in team games, you have to understand that's majority of the reason you lose. It's not because you're having such a bad game. Like, if you've won a lot in a row and then you lose, you're either too cocky or you're playing too much into team fighting. When you team fight too much, then you're relying on your teammates to get you that damage off of them, to get you that kill, and you don't think about your health as much. when you think even if you have 4 of your teammates around you, and you pretend that you're alone and you're fighting extra guys on the enemy team, that normally helps. It normally helps ease the nerves of, I'm gonna die anyway, right? So I'm just here. I'm gonna try to fight all these guys off and do as much damage as I can before I do die. That's all I wanted. That's all I want to do when I play. I don't look for kills. I don't look for that. I look to be the distraction that just is annoying as hell, and the enemy team just can't seem to kill. That's all I want to do every time I play the game. I just want to be annoying, and I want to be in their way, and I want to be stopping them from scoring. I don't care if I kill them, as long as they can't score points on me. Doesn't matter if I'm dead. If they can't score their points, then it doesn't matter. Because then my teammates will be there in time to be able to cover up my mistake of dying. And you also have to count for sometimes you're not having that teammate come in too. So every time you can't expect, I'm gonna be okay because my teammate's gonna be right there. Because sometimes they just walk away from the lane, or they weren't there to begin with when you thought they'd be there, and they're in another lane pushing for kills, for easy free kills instead of defending. Because that's common, that's normal. I'd rather get an easy free kill than have to get an assist that took a lot of time and was hard. Because an easy free kill is just quick, clean, and then you can get back to your lane. Here, I think I pop off with Serena. I don't remember. I normally do good with her. I don't think I don't think at this point I can play anyone in any position. I just have my favorites to play, right? Like, it doesn't matter how good or bad the Pokemon's doing. I have my favorites I like to play. Like, I'll play randomly Charizard on my own, and not in a ranked game, but just to play him. Because Charmander was one of my favorite Pokemon as a kid, and honestly, Charizard's ult is kind of broken if you use it right, because the only way to attack him is if you have high speed, because when he's doing his ult, he's moving around so fast, it's kind of hard to lock onto him. And a lot of people also try run away because of how much damage he does with his ult. Like, I think his attacks are like 0.5 boosted, or at least 0.25 boosted percent, like 25% boosted attack, and I think so. And I think you also get a shield if you bring Buddy Berry or something like that. Whichever one gives you a shield for ulting with teammates around, and you'll get a shield off that. And a lot of times you'll see me at real low HP, just not wanting to go back. With Serena, you can do that, because when you knock someone out, you get an HP boost. And when you use that, you see that blue ability down there, the one that does 3 spinning kicks in a row? That's a lifesteal attack, and that just, it's a pretty good combo, because the first one, that the grassy glide, is a stun, and it also moves them, so wherever they were aiming before, they have to aim somewhere differently now, and they have to target someone else. And then my lifesteal can just keep me in lane longer, right? Like, look at this. Look at that. He did so much damage to me. I was at half health, but then with my lifesteal, boom, it's done. It's over. I'm back to almost full health, and he's sitting in base. Oh, we killed 4 of them? Jeez. You know, I like to promote these videos as ones that show my skill and whatnot, but also understand, on the other end of the spectrum, I'm on the other team sometimes, and there's just nothing to do. Like, when the other team's just so good, they don't even care who they're fighting on your team anymore, and they just are cleaning you guys out. You can't fight back against it, because they've just found their groove. They found their mojo, you know? And I think we get this really quickly. Yeah, so we're at 3 seconds, and 7 seconds, already under half. 10 seconds. 13 seconds. It took us 13 seconds to get the Articuno. And I think we could have done it quicker if I would have time my moves properly. And right there, that's it. That's the dagger in the heart. Every single one of us, I think, scores like 100 points right now. Yep, there's another 100. There's another 100. Or what was that, 80? Ooh, and we get clapped back right here. And I did not like to disrespect this, because he's just trying to fight back, you know? But the game's already over. Don't make my game look even worse because you get a last second 100 points because you guys weren't scoring all game. So look, they surrendered here. I want you to pay attention to the score and subtract 100 off of it. Look at the other team's score. They're going to be on the right side. It'll show defeated above their names, yeah. Let's see here, folks. I know it covers it up, my subscribe thing does, but look at that. 199 points for the whole game. That means they only scored 99 points that whole time. Well, anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.